Welcome to the Hazardous Chemical and Chemical Safety Training. We have 5 objectives for this training module and, most importantly, want to improve your understanding and knowledge of handling and using hazardous workplace chemicals. Let's get started. A hazardous substance is defined as any substance, mixture or article classified as hazardous according to the criteria of Safe Work Australia. Or more simply, it is a chemical that could cause harm to you or the environment. When working with chemicals in the workplace, extra care should be taken to avoid exposure. Consider all chemicals as potentially hazardous and always read the directions for use on the label, as well as the SDS before handling. Never mix or decant chemicals, as there could be potential hazardous reactions between different chemicals that could result in serious injury. Always check the physical characteristics of the chemical, including colour and smell, to ensure you are using the correct product. Chemicals must always be correctly labelled. Promptly replace damaged or defaced labels so there is no question as to what the chemicals are, and always wear appropriate personal protective equipment as specified in the SDS, such as safety glasses and gloves, to prevent accidental chemical exposure. An example of incorrect chemical handling is a kitchen hand who transferred our oven cleaner into a coffee cup. This was accidentally consumed by a work colleague who assumed it was a drink. This product is corrosive and can cause real damage. Never decant chemicals into inappropriate containers. Always label chemicals. Remember, these safety rules are designed to help ensure everyone remains safe. Never mix chemicals, as you may achieve unintentional dangerous results. For example, Blue Laser is our acidic bathroom cleaner, and if mixed with Clean Kill and alkaline bleach, these products will react and produce heat and chlorine gas, which is highly toxic. Let's have a look at what's on our labels and how to interpret the information on them. Important product information can be found on the label, including the product name and hazardous components. This label will be easily legible, durable and resistant to chemicals. We encourage you to look at this label information as it is easily available and conveniently located on the product. This example will help you visualise what each element looks like and where to find them on our product labels. The product name is always the most visible and largest size for easy identification. Hazardous components will be listed under the product name. On the right-hand side of the product name panel, you will find all the hazard and safety information. Pictograms will be the most immediate indication that a product is hazardous. These will visually identify the hazard associated with the product, such as corrosive or flammable. In this example, the pictogram shows that DFA 100 is an irritant. The signal word will always be located near the pictogram and indicates the level of hazard. There are only 2 signal words, warning or danger. Warning indicates a lower level of hazard, while danger indicates a higher level. Hazard statements are short phrases which describes the hazard in more detail. Precautionary statements are a set of preventative and first aid instructions to minimise exposure and explain treatment methods for when accidental exposure occurs. Depending on how much space there is on the label, this list may not be comprehensive. You will find the full list of precautionary statements in Section 2 of the Safety Data Sheet. That is why it is very important to read the SDS before handling each chemical. Other information on the label includes a brief product description, the directions on how to use the product in different situations, details of the manufacturer, batch number and expiry date of the product. Let's take a look at our Safety Data Sheets, or SDS, as they are commonly known. SDS contain vital information and should be conveniently located for easy access by all staff at any time. Ensure you are familiar with the location of your own SDS documents at your workplace. You will find details such as hazardous chemical identity, health and physical hazards, safe handling and storage procedures, emergency procedures, and disposal considerations. The SDS should be the first point of reference when assessing workplace risks. Section 1 contains information on the manufacturer and an emergency number in case of personal injury. Section 2 summarises the hazards of the chemical and contains a full list of precautionary statements that may not all appear on the label as mentioned earlier. If you're dealing with a hazardous chemical, always make sure you check this section carefully before handling. Section 3 discloses all the ingredients which make a product hazardous. It's important to note that this is not a full composition disclosure, only those that pose as a risk to the user when exposure occurs. Section 4 is the first aid section, that is, what to do in the first instance when you come in contact with the chemical. Section 5 features what to do in the event of a fire. Section 6 includes required action in the event of a chemical spill. Section 7 gives instructions on how to properly handle and store the chemical. Section 8 provides guidance on how to minimise or even eliminate exposure and lists the recommended personal protective equipment users should wear to avoid chemical contact. Section 9 contains information on the physical properties of the product. Check your products against the specifications listed here to get an indication that the product is correct. Section 13 details disposal considerations. Section 14 has details on the dangerous goods classification, if the product is deemed as DG under the Australian Dangerous Goods Code. Safety data sheets are valid for 5 years. Section 16 tells you when the SDS was last updated. Administering immediate and effective first aid reduces the severity of the injury and promotes recovery. It is therefore important to know what to do when exposed to hazardous chemicals. As mentioned earlier, Section 4 of the SDS tells you what to do in the event of an accident. Different chemicals have different ways of treatment, but as a general rule of thumb, if you get a chemical into your eyes, always rinse eyes with running water for 15 minutes and remove contact lenses if applicable. If you get chemicals on your skin, remove contaminated clothing and flush skin with running water. If large areas of the body have been exposed, use a safety shower and flush whole body for at least 10 minutes. If hazardous vapours or dusts are inhaled, immediately remove the victim from the area to fresh air and stay in a position comfortable for breathing. If breathing has stopped, immediately perform CPR until the ambulance arrives. If a chemical has been accidentally swallowed, never induce vomiting because it will expose the throat to the chemical twice, doubling the chances of injury. Some chemicals can also then be aspirated after vomiting and cause further damage to the lungs and respiratory tract. Refer to the SDS for specific first aid treatment. Seek medical attention to get professional help and advice. The Poisons Information Centre can also be contacted for advice if a doctor cannot be reached immediately. To achieve controlled dosage and more effective chemical use, many of our products can be dispensed through automatic dispensing units. It also reduces the danger of inappropriate dispensing or excessive manual handling, lowering the risk of a chemical accident. It eliminates the need to decant chemicals and ensures compliance to work health and safety rules. Remember the safety rules: never mix chemicals. True Blue provide easy-to-use, in-use bottles with clear labels and instructions on how to use at different dilution rates. This aids in making sure chemicals are always correctly labelled for safe chemical use. To summarise today's training, take precautions when handling chemicals. Consider all chemicals as hazardous and follow basic safety rules and first aid procedures. Wear appropriate PPE when handling chemicals. Always read SDS and label prior to using any chemicals. Know where the SDS are kept at your workplace. Handle chemicals in a safe manner and use an automatic dispensing system where possible. Ensure a safe working environment by complying with work health and safety requirements. For further information, please visit our website www.croft.com.au. truebluechemicals.com.au. Please complete the quiz for this module to confirm your understanding and download a copy of the completion certificate to celebrate your achievement. Thank you for participating in the Hazardous Chemicals and Chemical Safety Training.